3 Blue Letter Bible app, Bible in a Year. Okay, yesterday we did Samuel 15 through 17. Today is 18 through 20, and then Psalm 11. Psalm 11 is pretty heavy. Okay, so I guess when you try to replace the leadership, that old leadership's going to come after you. God doesn't like them to get involved in violence. I know. And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul, that the soul of Jonathan was knit, and the soul of David and Jonathan loved him, and his own soul. And Saul took him that day, and would let him go no more from his home, go no more home to his father's house. And Jonathan and David made a covenant because he loved him as his own soul. And Jonathan stripped himself of his robe that was upon him and gave it to David, and his garments, and even to his sword to his elbow, and to his girdle. And David went out whatsoever, and Saul sent him, and behaved himself wisely. And Saul set him over the men of war, and he was accepted in the sight of the people, also in the sight of Saul's servants. And it came to pass as they came, when David returned from the slaughter of the Philistines, that the women came out of all the cities of Israel, singing and dancing to meet King Saul with tabrets and with joy and with instruments of music. And the women answered one another as they played. And Saul hath slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s. And Saul was very wroth, saying, and the saying displeased him. And he said, They have ascribed unto David 10,000s, but to me they have ascribed but thousands. And what can he have more but the kingdom? And Saul eyed David from that day forward. Covetousness, guys. That is the sin. That is the sneaky sin. Some of them are easy. Just don't do this, don't do that. Covetousness sneaks in there. And it came to pass on the morrow that the evil spirit from God came upon Saul. It came from God and came upon Saul. And he prophesied in the midst of the house of David. And David played with his hands, and other times there was a javelin in Saul's hand. And Saul cast the javelin, for he said, I will smite David even to the wall with it. And David avoided it out of the presence twice. So he's throwing a javelin at him twice. The evil spirit came from God. Wild, man. And Saul was afraid of David because Jehovah was with him, and was departed from Saul. Therefore Saul removed him, and made him captain over 1,000, and went out before and came in before the people. And David behaved himself wisely in all his ways, and Jehovah was with him. Therefore, when Saul saw that he behaved himself very wisely, he was afraid of him. But all of Israel and Judah loved David, because he went out and came in before them. And Saul said to David, Behold, my elder daughter Merab, I will give her to thee to wife. Only be thou valiant for me, and fight the Lord's battles. For Saul said, Let not my hand be upon him, but let the hand of the Philistines be upon him. And David said unto Saul, Who am I? And what is my life, or my father's family in Israel, that I should be the son-in-law to the king? So David is still just humble. What am I, man? But it came to pass that the time when Merab, Saul's daughter, should have been given unto David, but she was given unto Adriel, the Metholite, to wife. And Michal, Saul's daughter, loved David. And they sold Saul, and they told Saul, and the thing pleased him. And Saul said, I will give her that she may be a snare to him, and that the hand of the Philistines may be against him. Wherefore Saul said to David, Thou shalt be this day my son-in-law, in the one of twain. And Saul commanded his servants, saying, Commune with David secretly, and say, Behold, the king hath delight in thee, and all of his servants love thee. Now therefore be the king's son-in-law. And Saul's servants spake those words into the ears of David. And David say, Seemeth to you a light thing to be the king's son-in-law, seeing that I am a poor man and lightly esteemed. And the servants of Saul told him, saying, On this manner speak David. And Saul said, Thus shall ye say to David, King desireth not any dowry, but 100 foreskins of the Philistines to be avenged of the king's enemies. And Saul thought to make David fall by the hand of the Philistines. And when his servants told David these words, it pleased David well to be the king's son-in-law, and the days were not expired. Therefore David arose and went, he and his men, and they slew the Philistines 200 men, and David brought their foreskins. Crazy, isn't it? What? And he brought their foreskins, and he gave them in full tale to the king, that he might be the king's son-in-law. And Saul gave Michal his daughter to wife. And Saul saw and knew that Jehovah was with David. And so he sent him out there to be killed. Okay, he sent him out there to be killed by the Philistines. And now he brought him back a bag full of foreskins. Here's your dicks. Great, wild. Yeah, here you go. Here's your bag of dicks. And Saul said, "Yeah, they're more. Yeah. So here's it to you, trying to get me killed, buddy. Here you go." And Saul said, "Yet the more afraid of David, and Saul became David's enemy continually. And the princes of the Philistines went forth, and it came to pass that if they went forth, that David behaved himself more wisely than all the servants of Saul, so that his name was much set by." Yay! Hey, hello, gamer boy. So I'm reading. This is 1 Samuel 18. I'm just going into 1 Samuel 19, verse 1 right now. And Saul spake unto Jonathan, his son, and to all his servants, that they should kill David. But Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in David. And Jonathan told David, saying, My father seeketh to kill thee. Now therefore, I pray thee, take heed to thyself until the morning, and abide in a secret place, and hide thyself. And I will go out, and I will stand beside my father in the field. Where art thou? And I will commune with my father of thee, and see, and I will tell thee. And Jonathan spake good of David unto Saul his father, and said unto him, Let not the king sin against his servant David, because he hath not sinned against thee, and because his works have been toward thee very good. For he did put his life in the hand, and slew the Philistine. And Jehovah hath wrought great salvation for Israel. And thou sawest, and did rejoice, and therefore wilt thou sin against the innocent blood to slay David without cause? Wow. From Indonesia, isn't it cool that we could like read the Bible together? And I don't think I could pronounce your name, but Lotan Longathe. I am at 1 Samuel, this is verse 6, 1 Samuel 19, verse 6. And Saul hearkened to the voice of Jonathan, and Saul sware, as Jehovah liveth, that he shall not be slain. And Jonathan called David, and Jonathan showed him all the things, and Jonathan brought David to Saul, and he was in the presence in all the times past. And there was war again, and David went out and fought with the Philistines and slew them with great slaughter, and they fled from him. And the evil spirit from the Jehovah was upon Saul. So this was the evil spirit from Jehovah upon Saul. Okay, when people do wickedly, sometimes God, he puts that evil spirit on him. Okay, Saul had sealed his fate. Unless maybe he just but he didn't totally repent. No, God set an evil spirit on him. And the evil spirit from Jehovah was upon Saul, and he sat in his house with his javelin in his hands, and David played with his hand. And Saul sought to smite David, even to the wall with the javelin, but he slipped away out of Saul's presence, and he smote the javelin into the wall. And David fled and escaped that night. And Saul also sent messengers unto David's house to watch him, and to slay him in the morning. And Michal, David's wife, told him, saying, If thou save not thy life tonight, tomorrow thou shalt be slain. So Michal let David down through the window, and he went and fled and escaped. And Michal took an image and laid it in the bed and turn the page, and he put a pillow of goat's hair for his bolster and covered it with the cloth. And when Saul's messengers sent to take David, she said, "He is sick." And Saul sent messengers again to see David, saying, "Bring him to me in the bed, that I may slay him." And when the messengers were come, to behold, there was an image in the bed, and the pillars of goat's hair for his bolster. And Saul said unto Michal, "Why hast thou deceived me so, and sent away my enemy, that he is escaped?" And Michal answered and said, Saul, "Come unto me, and let me go. Why should I kill thee?" So David fled and escaped, and came to Samuel to Ramah, and told him all that Samuel had done to him. And he and Samuel went down and dwelt in Naioth. And it was told Saul, saying, "Behold, David is in Naioth in Ramah." And Saul sent messengers to take David. And when they saw the company of the prophets prophesying, and Samuel standing as appointed over them, the Spirit of God was upon the messengers, and they also prophesied. So holy smokes. So he sends the messengers down there, and the messengers get there, and whoops, Samuel's here. Whoops. Seeing Samuel, anybody in Israel at that time, when they saw Samuel, the fear of God would come over them. Samuel rode into town, instantly you straightened up. And they also prophesied. And when it was told to Saul, he sent messengers, and they prophesied likewise. And Saul sent messengers again the third time, and they prophesied also. So he keeps sending people to kill him. Keep sending them. Keep sending them. David was sitting there with Samuel. You ain't going to touch him there, buddy. And when he was also in Ramah, and they came to the great well, and in Sheol, he asked him, and he said, "Where are Samuel and David?" And one said, "Behold, they are be at Naioth and Ramah." And he went whither to Naioth and Ramah, and the Spirit of God was upon him also. And he went on and prophesied until he came to Naioth and Ramah. And he stripped off his clothes. He also prophesied before Samuel in like manner, and lay down naked all day and all night. Therefore, they say, Saul is among the prophets. So Saul went there himself. Do I like watermelon? Heck yeah. Got some growing in the garden. I don't know if it's going to live or not. I don't know how well it's doing. But I'll water it. We shall see. We know not how it grows, right? All right. So, and he went to Namrah. Yeah. So then, this is verse 20. Or chapter 20, excuse me, verse 1. And David fled from Naioth and Ramah, and came before Jonathan. What have I done? What is my iniquity? What is my sin before the Father, that he seeth my life? And he said unto him, God forbid, thou shalt not die. Behold, my father will do nothing, neither great nor small, that he shall slew me. And why should my father hide this thing from me? It is not so. And David swore moreover, and said, Thy father certainly knoweth that I have found grace in thine eyes. And he saith, Let not Jonathan know this, lest he be grieved. But truly, as Jehovah liveth, and as thy soul liveth, there is but a step between me and death. Then said Jonathan unto David, Whatsoever thy soul desireth, I will even do so for thee. And David said unto Jonathan, Behold, tomorrow, for it is a new moon, and I should not fail to sit with the king at meat. But let me go, that I may hide myself in the field until the third day at even. Until the third day. He's going to hide himself until the third day. If thy father at all miss me, then say, David earnestly asked leave of me, that I might run to Bethlehem, his city, for there is a yearly sacrifice there for all the family. And if he say, it is thus, it is well, thy servant shall have peace. But if he be very wroth, then surely evil is determined by him. Therefore thou shalt deal kindly with thy servant, for thou hast brought thy servant into covenant of Jehovah, and with thee notwithstanding there will be in me iniquity. Slay me thyself, for thy shouldest thou bring me unto thy father. Therefore thou shalt deal kindly with thy servant, for thou hast brought thy servant into covenant of Jehovah. Thanking him for bringing him into covenant. Notwithstanding, if there be any iniquity in me, if there be any iniquity, slay me thyself. For why shouldest thou bring me into thy father? And Jonathan said, Far be it from thee, for if I knew certainly that evil were determined by my father to come upon thee, then would not I tell thee? That's a question. So if my father was going to do evil to you, I would tell you. Then said David unto Jonathan, Who shall tell me? Or what, if any thy father answer thee roughly? And Jonathan said unto David, Come, let us go out into the field. And they went out, both of them, to the field. And Jonathan said unto David, O Jehovah God of Israel, when I have sounded my father about tomorrow at any time or the third day, behold, if there be any good toward David, then I send not unto thee, and show it thee. The Jehovah said so much more to Jonathan. But if it please my father to do thee evil, then I will show it to thee, and send thee away, that thou mayest go in peace, and that Jehovah be with thee, as he has been with my father. And thou shalt not only while yet I live show me the kindness of Jehovah, that I die not. But also thou shalt not cut off thy kindness from my house forever. No, not when Jehovah hath cut off the enemies of David, every one from the face of the earth. So Jonathan made a covenant with the house of David, saying, Let the house of Jehovah even required at the hand of David's enemy. And Jonathan's caused David to swear again, because he loved him. For so he loved him as he loved his own soul. And Jonathan said to David, Tomorrow is the new moon, and thou shalt be missed, because thy seat will be empty. And when thou hast stayed 3 days, then thou shalt go down quickly and come to the place where thou didst hide thyself when the business was in hand. And thou shalt remain by the stone of Ezel. And I will shoot 3 arrows on the side thereof, and though as I shot the mark. And behold, I will send a lad, saying, Go, find the arrows. And if I expressly say unto the lad, Behold, the arrows are on the side of thee, take them. Then thou shalt come, for there is peace to thee, and no hurt, as Jehovah had liveth. But if I say to the young man, Behold, the arrows are beyond thee, and go thy way, for Jehovah hath sent thee away, and as touching the matter which thou have spoken of, behold, Jehovah be between thee and me forever. So David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come, the king sat down to eat meat. And the king sat upon his seat, as at other times, even upon the seat of the wall. And Jonathan arose, and Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty. Nevertheless, Paul spake not anything that day, for he sought that something hath fallen him, and he is not clean. Surely he is not clean. And it came to pass on the morrow, which, the 2nd day of the month, and David's place was empty, and Saul said unto Jonathan his son, Wherefore come not the son of Jesse to meet, neither yesterday nor today? And Jonathan answered Saul, and said, Earnestly ask leave of me, and go to Bethlehem. And he said, Let me go, and I pray thee, for out of the family hath a sacrifice in the city, and my brother he hath commanded me to be there. And now, if I have found any favor in thine eyes, let me get away, and I pray thee to see my brethren. Therefore he cometh not unto the king's table. And Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan, and he said unto him, Thou son of perverseness, rebellious woman, do not I know that thou hast chosen the son of Jesse to thine own confusion, and unto thy confusion of thy mother's nakedness? For as long as the son of Jesse liveth upon this ground, thou shalt not be established, nor thy kingdom. Therefore, now send and fetch him unto me, for he shall surely die. And Jonathan answered Saul and his father, and said unto him, Wherefore shall he be slain? What hath he done? And Saul cast a javelin at him to smite him, whereby Jonathan knew that it was determined of his father to slay David. So Jonathan arose from the table in fierce anger, and did eat no meat the second day of the month, for he was grieved for David, because his father had done him shame. And it came to pass in the morning, when Jonathan went out to the field at the time appointed with David, and a little lad with him, he said unto the lad, Run out now, and the arrows which I shoot. And as the lad ran, he shot the arrows beyond him. And when the lad was come into the place of the arrows which Jonathan had shot, Jonathan cried after the lad and said, It is not the arrows beyond thee? And Jonathan cried after the lad, and make speed and haste. And Jonathan and the lad gathered up the arrows, and he came to his master. So that was their secret code that Saul meant to harm him. And the lad knew not only one thing, but Jonathan and David knew the matter. That's pretty sharp, man. But the lad knew not anything, and Jonathan and David knew the matter. And Jonathan gave his artillery unto the lad, and said unto him, Go, carry them to the city. And as soon as the lad was gone, David arose out of the place toward the south, and fell on his face to the ground, and bowed himself 3 times. And they kissed one another, and wept with one another. And until David exceeded. And Jonathan said to David, Go in peace, for as much as we have sworn, both of us, in the name of Jehovah, saying, The Lord be between us, me and thee, and between my seed and thy seed forever. And he arose and departed, and Jonathan went into the city. And later on we will see, probably in Samuel 2, or it might be in Chronicles or somewhere, but David takes care of the son of Jonathan. The son of Jonathan had something wrong with his leg. He was lame, he had polio. He had something wrong with his legs, and he sat at the table with David in the kingdom forever. So David took care of Samuel City. Okay, so now let's read Psalms 11. Go ahead, turn to Psalms 11. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. In Jehovah I put my trust. How, say ye to my soul, flee as a bird to your mountain, For lo, the wicked bend their bow and make ready their arrows upon the string, that they may privately shoot me, and shoot at the upright in the heart. That the wicked will shoot the upright in the heart. Verse 3, if the foundations be destroyed, what can righteous do? If the foundation is the 10 Commandments, folks. If the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? For Jehovah is the holy temple, and Jehovah's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his eyelids try the children of men. Jehovah trieth the righteous, but the wicked, and that loveth violence, his soul hateth. Jehovah trieth the righteous, but the wicked, and him that loveth violence, his soul hateth. Upon the wicked shall rain snares, fire, and brimstone, and a horrible tempest. This shall be their portion of their cup. Rain snares. God. Romans 1, God puts clouds of judgment. It's God that puts their mind into wickedness. They're given over to wickedness. I can't find the words. For the righteous, this is verse 7, for the righteous, Jehovah loveth righteousness. His countenance doth behold the upright. For the righteous, Jehovah loveth righteousness. Okay, that's Deuteronomy. Let's take a look at what righteousness means. That's Deuteronomy 6. Deuteronomy 6. The Bible is what determines what is where you go to for your righteousness. And the Lord Jehovah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Jehovah our God for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe all these commandments before Jehovah our God as he hath commanded us. So it'll be our righteousness to observe those commandments. That's Deuteronomy 6. Okay, just turn the page back one page to Deuteronomy 5, and you'll see his commandments. And that is the Holy Covenant that goes in the Ark of the Covenant under thy mercy seat. Deuteronomy 5, verse 22. These words, so when you hear the voice of the Lord, you'll know what he's talking about. These words Jehovah spake unto all your assembly in the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness. With a great voice he added no more. He added no more. That's to the covenant. 10 commandments. That's it, folks. 10. Also to eat clean, as the other covenant, as the other forever covenant of promise, the rainbow covenant. Not to eat of the blood. You eat clean, folks. You obey the 10 commandments, eat clean, and then we teach others to do so. That is the mercy, folks. That is giving that mercy that's placed under the mercy seat. David's going to talk about it in Psalms 51. We read Psalms 11. We just read Psalms 11. That's pretty heavy. But Psalms 51 is where he talks about sharing that message. Do not let your spirit depart from me, and I will teach the transgressors. Praise Yah. That is poor in spirit. That is the poor in spirit that trembleth at his word.